What's up, everybody? So this lady walked up to two men at a construction site, and she approached the first man and she said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he says, "I'm a bricklayer. I put cement down and I lay bricks down, and it's hard work. And at the end of the day, my back kills me and I can't sleep for nothing." And then she walked over to the second man and she said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he looked at her and said, "I am building a school. And someday kids will run and learn and make friends here. My back hurts, but you know what? The hard work that I put in today will benefit others in the end." My name is Matt with Elevating Yourself, and today we're going to be talking about perspective. Perspective can have such a dramatic impact on the experiences you have. They can either make them great experiences or they can make them poor experiences. And in today's video, we're going to be exploring what perspective is, how you can change your perspective, and really what the ripple effect of that perspective can be on others around you. So what is perspective? So perspective is the lens at which we experience things throughout the world. And depending on your perspective, two people can go through the exact same situation, but experience it in very different ways. The state of your mind can be the determinant on how these experiences go. Sometimes all you need is a little bit of reverbiage. Reverbiage? I don't know if that's a word, but it is right now. So instead of saying "I have to," replace that with "I get to." And this can work in just about every situation. Take, for instance, "I have to do the dishes." Instead of saying that, you get to say, "I get to do the dishes so that me and my partner can sit down faster and enjoy the evening." These are the situations that can really make the changes in your life and give you that perspective that can really help things out. So let's talk about the science of perspective for a bit. Cognitive reframing is something that can absolutely help you out. This gives you the opportunity to look at situations with a different view or perspective. It allows you to look at negative situations or unhelpful thoughts and reframe them so that you can look at more constructive ones. Now, it's not saying that you have to look at positive ones. This isn't just about being a pessimist or an optimist. It's about looking at it from a constructive angle. For example, instead of saying "I failed at something, therefore I am a failure," you can look at it and say "I didn't succeed, but I was able to walk away with some really strong learnings that I can apply to future experiences." You see, our thoughts shape our emotions, and our emotions really do control our actions. So negative thoughts can lead us into feeling anxious or undervalued, which is why we want to reprogram this. And if you can reframe your thinking and reprogram your mind, you will allow yourself to look at situations in a much different light. You see, when you're faced with a situation, your initial reaction usually comes from deeply ingrained thought patterns. And when you reframe things, that is when you start to break those patterns up. And it starts to get you to think about things just a little bit differently. Cognitive reframing allows us to think about solutions rather than just dwell on problems. It starts to train your brain to think of things in a little bit different way. And when you do that, you can focus more on the possibilities, and it can actually train you to start thinking of things in a little bit more optimism and give you a little bit more resilience in your life. And the great thing about it is that over time, this process will help us rewire our thought patterns, which will make it a lot easier when these challenges are presented in the future. So let's talk about how you can change your perspective. There are actually 4 things that you can do to help on your journey to change your perspective. The first is to pause and reflect when emotions are high so that you can reassess the situation. Remember, you're learning something new that isn't something that is naturally done. And so as you're starting to learn this new process, you're retraining your brain. And because of that, it's going to take time. So I want to make sure that you are also taking time to kind of pause and reflect on these situations, especially when those emotions are high, because it is easy to kind of slip back and make knee-jerk reactions. Next is asking questions so you can explore alternative viewpoints. Asking questions is a great way for you to understand situations that you aren't familiar with. And it is much better than just reacting because it allows you to get more information before you make those decisions. Next is practicing gratitude so you can shift the focus from what is lacking to what is actually present. And number 4 is engage different perspectives through conversation and experiences. Remember, somebody's probably already done it and you can learn from them. And it's not to say that you're going to learn from their successes. Sometimes just listening to their stories is enough to give you a different perspective. It's important that we take the experiences of others and apply them to ourselves. Maybe not in the sense that what they went through, I'm going to go through. Maybe what they went through, you need to go to the opposite direction. And those experiences that they have had can help you out along the way tremendously. And finally, let's talk about the ripple effect. Changing your perspective can not only have dramatic impacts on your life, but they can have dramatic impacts on the people around you. I coach my son's flag football team, and as kids, they really want to succeed. They want to win every game. And sometimes that doesn't happen, and they're usually very emotional when they don't win. And so at the end of each game, what I do is I huddle them up and I ask them, what are some of the things that went really well? And I let them go around and talk about the things that went really well. And then I ask, what are some of our opportunities? What could we have done better? And this is great because this kind of helps shape what our next practices go. And I let them kind of talk about some of the things they could have done better. Maybe it was something that they personally could have done better, or maybe it was something that the team could have done better. But then our very next practice, I revisit it and I talk about the things that we talked about at the end of the last game. And I say, this is the things that we're going to be working on because you've identified the things that we can make better. And that helps these kids kind of reframe their thoughts instead of looking at a situation and saying, we lost the game and I suck, which is tough because they're usually playing against their friends and those friends are going to rub it in their face. And I want them to not take that instance and make it part of their personality. I want them to look at that situation and change it for the better. Change their perspective and you will change their life. Thanks for watching today. Perspective. It's an amazing tool if you can use it to your advantage. We spend about 99% of our time right up there. And if you aren't using that time to reprogram this thing to use in your favor, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You have all the ability to make a difference. Sometimes it's just about reframing our thoughts and perspectives so that it gives us a better outlook on things. Remember, not always just a positive outlook, but a better outlook that can benefit us in the end. If you haven't had a chance, please make sure to check out a couple of other videos I've got posted. Remember, elevating yourself to the next level starts with a single shift in perspective. Start shifting that perspective today. We'll see you next time.